Hello, and welcome to episode 37 of the Sarah Seams podcast. My name's Sarah, and I'm coming to you from a very rainy day here in Columbus, Ohio, where I live with my partner Troy and our three cats, Alex, Moo, and Elsie, all of whom I think make an appearance in some photos I have to share with you today. Today is Tuesday, October 15th. We have the whole week off, so both of us took yesterday and today off, and tomorrow we're leaving for Rhinebeck. So I have a ton of really fun stuff to share with you today. I've got my normal project updates, so I've got some finished objects, I've got some sewing and knitting finished objects and whips to share with you today. And then at the end, we're going to talk Rhinebeck. So I'm going to share what I'm packing to work on, what I'm going to be shopping for, and some of the vendors that I'm most excited to see. And this is my first year going, so I'm really, really excited. I also have some very fun Halloween costume sewing to share with you today. So it's kind of a big jam-packed episode, so I think we should dive right in. All of my social media information is linked below in the description box if you're interested in following along on Instagram or finding me on Ravelry or sending me an email. You can find all that information below. I also no longer do super detailed description notes for all of the patterns and yarns. So if you have a question about anything, please feel free to ask me below in a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, with that out of the way, let me tell you about what I'm wearing. So this is the To Draw sweater by the designer Revive. This was actually my first finished object of 2024, and it's one of my favorites still. So it's this big, cozy, oversized, bulky drop, or not bulky, it's worsted weight, drop shoulder construction, 2x2 rib. It has a little braided detail around the cuffs, but the feature of this sweater is this big siege stitch square on the front. So the main yarn I used was Biche Bouche Le Gros Lamb's Wool, which is their worsted weight yarn. And this color is Candy, and I hope you can see all the really fun different little colors in there. I love it. And then for the square, I held that yarn together with a strand of the Biche Bouche Le Gros mohair, which is a DK weight mohair. So you get this chunky seed stitch, and the color of mohair I used was pink. So it creates this really cool effect. I think the design has the square on the back also, but I did choose to omit that and only do it on the front. I knit a size 5, and this was my birthday cast on last year, and I've decided if I can, I always want my birthday cast ons to be like art or creativity related, just to have a fun theme. And this one was kind of inspired by one of my favorite artists, Agnes Martin. If you're not familiar with her, definitely look up her work. She is a really interesting, like, minimalist painter and artist. I really love her work. And yeah, I love this sweater. I've been wearing it a lot all year, but especially now. I like to wear this one around the house a lot, but now that it's getting cooler, I can wear it out a little more. It's one of my favorite ones I've ever made. I would definitely recommend the pattern. It's really fun and interesting. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. Nice and cozy today. All right, should we jump into FOs? So the first one is sewing. Let me grab it. I think I showed you this as a whip last time, but I have finished it. This is my midway jacket. The pattern is by Les Perlines. I love this pattern. I've made it 3 times. I crop mine even more than the pattern suggests. So the pattern comes with a cropped view and a full-length view. I make the cropped view and crop it even more because I really want it to hit me just right at my natural waist. I love these big cargo pockets. You can open them this way or this way, so they're really utilitarian. It has a cute folded up cuff, split cuff detail. I just love this. I love this color. This is a chocolate brown bold denim from Blackbird Fabrics, and I've already worn this a couple times. I think it's going to kind of be a staple for me this fall. Hang it up over here. I am also, just to give you a little sneak peek, I'm trying a new video format for October. So it'll come out at the beginning of November, and I'm gonna share like everything I made in the month of October. And in that video, I will show me wearing that jacket. So it's gonna just be like as I finish a project, I'll get on and talk about it, and then all of those will be in one video at the end of the month. So that's just something new I'm trying. The first one's going to be everything I made in October, and hopefully you guys like that. Okay, the next finished sewing objects I have to show. I just finished last night. I can't show them to you here because they're too big, so I'm gonna put pictures in. My sister and I decided that we wanted to make our Halloween costumes this year, and we wanted to be different types of moths. So I am being the Rosy Maple Moth. Here's a picture. It's very cute. And she is going to be the Luna Moth, which is classic, beautiful green moth with those long tail bits on the wings. And so we decided to make these moth costumes. And when I say we, she did help a lot, but mostly it was me making them. And basically it was making like 2 quilt coats. So let me show you the costume. So here's the front of mine. So it's kind of like a cape. The pattern we're using is by Minimalist Machinist. It's called the Mothwing Capelet. Here's the back of mine. So when you open up your arms, you can really see the whole like wingspan of the moth, like the front wings and the hind wings. And there's little snaps at the wrist to like hold it together. Here's a picture of the front of my sister's. The pattern's very cool. The size is totally customizable. You basically take your wingspan measurement, so like wrist to wrist across the back of your neck, and then you print the pattern at a custom scale. Here's the back of hers, which I'm obsessed with how this turned out. It looks so good. So yes, I'm really pleased with how they turned out, but there was, of course, so much more work involved in them than I was prepared for. And we're gonna be gone this whole week, so kind of had to finish them up before we left. It was a bit of a frenzy. My sister came over to help me, and we ended up working on them for like 8+ hours on Sunday, and they still weren't finished. So it was a lot of work, but I'm so pleased with how they turned out. So yeah, basically it's like making a quilt coat, because, you know, we designed all the pieces to like look like the moths that we were trying to look like. Then we had to like do all the embellishment. There's a ton of bias binding all the pieces and then assembling it. There was a lot of hand stitching at the end, but I'm so glad we decided to make them and really pleased with how they turned out. I am going to be making a dress to wear under mine as well, but that's going to have to wait till I get back from Rhinebeck. So yeah, little Halloween costume update. I'd be very curious to hear if you are making Halloween costumes for yourself or loved one this year. And if so, please tell me, because it's very fun. Let me know what you're dressing up as below. Okay, that's it for sewing FOs. Let's jump into knitting. So I have 2 finished pairs of socks. The first are the September pattern from Summer Lee's Colorwork Cuff Club. I love how these turned out. I talked a lot on the last episode about how I picked my colors for these, so I'm not going to go too deep into that today, but these are all yarns that I had in stash. The cuff is like a really pretty dark teal, 3 different shades of gray for the leg, and then the stripes are this kind of warm pinky brown and this tonal neutral. I love how they turned out. I also said on the last episode, the colorwork portion is too tight for me. I couldn't get it on my foot. So I'm going to be gifting these to one of our friends that is meeting us in New York this week. So these are going to get gifted this week, and I'm really happy to pass these along to her, and I hope that she really enjoys them. I'm loving the Colorwork Cuff Club so much. Like, if you love to knit socks, definitely check it out. Okay, next pair is another pattern by Summer Lee. And here's where I have to say that I went totally bonkers right before it became October. So I think it was like September 29th. I got really excited about Socktober, and I just had all these like sock pattern, like knitting ideas in my head. And I basically cast them all on in one night. So I actually posted a special separate video all about like casting on all these socks and Socktober. So I'm gonna try and like go through them quickly today because there's so many, but if you're interested in hearing more about them or seeing all of them, I'll link the video I posted all about these and this Socktober inspiration. But I did finish the first pair that I cast on that night. So here they are. These are the DK weight ribbed socks from Summer Lee's book. This Tweety yarn is so fun. So let me show you that up close. So the base is like a light pink. It has these rainbow Tweety speckles, and then maybe you can see it also has rainbow stellina. It's really hard to capture that on the camera. And then it came with a mini, which was this like neon pink. The yarn was by Mandrake and Mandrake Co. It was for La Mercerie's birthday anniversary, like shop anniversary last summer. And the sock set was called Birthday Cake. It was on their Sparkle Stardust base. And the mini did not have a separate name. So yeah, the sock set was just called Birthday Cake. And I love how these turned out. These ones are for me, so they're gonna go in the sock box. And first finished pair for Socktober. Yay. Okay, last finished object is a biggie, and I'm so pleased with it. So I finished Troy's Rhinebeck cardigan. Yay! So I had intentions of knitting sweaters for both myself and Troy to wear to Rhinebeck, but it quickly became apparent to me that that was not going to happen. And I have plenty of other sweaters that I can wear. So I decided to focus on his cardigan, and I did finish it last week, like maybe Friday or Saturday, and I'm so happy with how it looks. So I am gonna just hold it up briefly. It's kind of hard to show because it's large, but then I'll put some pictures in as well. So here it is. It's done. Look at how long this body is. How dare he be this tall and have this long of arms, honestly. But I'm so pleased with it. So this is, let me put some pictures in. This is the old-fashioned cardigan by Maxim Sear. I made size 4 for Troy, and I did use the recommended yarn, which was the Le Garçon British Aran. The colorway is Highland Coo. It's a really gorgeous, rich brown. Here's a picture of some other pictures, side, back. It turned out so well. It worked up quickly, but I'm just not used to knitting that much body length and that long of sleeves. So I would say it took a little bit longer than like an average sweater for myself, but it is Aran weight, so it knits up pretty quickly. Really enjoyable stitch pattern, really enjoyable pattern overall. I think I honestly think it's like one of the more nicely finished things that I've made. Just all the finishes are really beautiful and detailed. Like the double folded collar with the short rows is really nice, and the way the bands in the front are finished is very, very nice. It fits him perfectly, and I've knit him one sweater before and it did not fit well at all. So I was a little bit nervous going into this, but it fits perfectly and I'm so pleased. It definitely would make me feel good about knitting any of Max's other patterns for Troy in the future. Yeah, overall, really good experience, really happy with how it turned out, and he really likes it. So that was a big success. It's looking like it's gonna be about 67 degrees for Rhinebeck on Sunday, the day that we're going. So I don't know if he'll be able to wear it to the festival or not, but at least we're gonna bring it and get some good pictures. So that is that, and that is it for finished objects. Let me pause here and grab my whips. Okay, I've got a literal tower of sock whips next to me. I have 6 sock projects right now. So like I said, I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly. There's one that is new even from when I cast all the other socks on. But I'm gonna go through the rest of them pretty quickly just because there's so many. So the first one is kind of my on-the-go car project. I did finish the first sock, and I think I showed you guys this last time. These are just 2x2 rib color block socks from Summer Lee's book, The Sock Project. And I think last time I was debating if I wanted to knit the second one the same way or do inverse colors. I did ultimately decide to do it the same. And I did cast the second one on. I don't have a ton, but I did finish the red part of the cuff, and now I'm just ready to start working on the pink. Like I said, these are just my car knitting, so they haven't been getting a ton of love lately, but they will get finished eventually. Okay, next, this is actually the pair that you haven't seen yet. I cast these on after I cast on the 6 other pairs, so I guess I've technically cast on 7 socks, 7 pairs of socks since we last talked. Have I lost it? Maybe, but I've actually finished one of these already. So, speaking of Summerlee's Colorwork Cuff Club, she released the patterns for October, which were very cute. She released 2 designs. One had little ghosts around the cuff and one had apples. And while they're both very cute, I didn't really feel like super excited about either of them. I didn't think either would be really wearable for me. I definitely preferred the apples, but I didn't have yarn in stash that would work well for that. So what I decided to do was go back to the August patterns and knit the second August pattern, which was this really cute little flower design. And I have finished one already. So let me tell you about this yarn. This is the main color. This is the mini that it came with. And this is a really gorgeous sock set from Sunday Fiber Co. The main colorway is Delphinium and the mini is Hydrangea. This sock set was gifted to me by my friend Jess. Thank you, Jess. And I love the base. The yarn is really nice to work with. It's 80% organic merino wool, 20% nylon, and it's eco superwash. It has a really nice feel to it and it's pretty plump for a fingering weight base. Really enjoyed it. So I decided to add in a third color. I recently got a couple mini skeins from a local yarn store, and one of them was this brighter, darker blue. And I decided to add that in as well. So because I wanted more contrast for the floral motif, so I used that darker blue for the floral motif, and then I used the really pretty light blue to do an afterthought heel and toe. I think it turned out so cute. I'm not super happy with how my color work looks on this sock. I feel like I used the recommended 2.75 millimeter needle, and I think with the really high contrast between the light base color and the dark flower, and having to catch floats on this design, I just think it looks a little messy. But hopefully blocking will even that out a bit. And even like from here, you can't really tell. So yeah, there's my August Colorwork Cuff Club sock. Very pleased with that. Have not started the second one yet. Okay, super quick. I did a sock test knit that was Sunday Fiber Co. This is Sunday Morning Knits. Laura at Sunday Morning Knits, she put out a test call for the Corinthian Socks. The test call is now over, but we only had to finish one sock. So this was the first one that I finished. They're 2x2 rib. They have this really gorgeous cuff detailing on them. And this yarn is Rainbow Sprinkles by Camellia Fiber Co. I did cast on the second sock, but just barely. I just knit the stockinette for the cuff, and now I need to fold that down and get going on the rest of the leg. So I will finish these at some point, but I felt a little burnt out on them after finishing the first one, so I'm not like super eager to revisit them right now, but I definitely will finish the other one at some point. Next are, again, there's not much to show here. This is one where I cast it on that night when I cast on the 6 other socks, and then I haven't touched it again since then. But these are going to be a pair of striped 2x2 rib socks that are alternating colors. So I have 2 shades of blue, 2 shades of purple, and a pink. And if you watch the Socktober Spectacular video, I go into a lot more detail about how I'm planning to use the colors. But this was a mini skein set from Knit Picks. It is Knit Picks Stroll base, and it just came with all these different little tweedy colors. So this will be fun. I'm eager to get going on these, but when you have 6 pairs of socks on the needles, you have to pick and choose which ones you're gonna work on. All right, two more socks. It's a lot of socks. Okay, I was kind of craving some self-striping yarn, so I bought a 50-gram skein of this really fun color. Well, there you can see. I'm sorry, it's raining really hard here right now. If you can hear that, that's what that is. This is from Nomadic Yarns. It's their twisty sock base, and the color is Good Luck Babe, inspired of course by the Chapel Roan. These I am knitting toe up. And here's what I have so far. Not a lot, but you can see how pretty those colors are gonna be together. I did try to knit on these in a movie and realized that I cannot knit Magic Loop in the dark yet. I've like made a couple little mistakes. I'm pretty new to Magic Loop, and while I enjoy it, I definitely cannot do it in the dark yet. So something to practice. I kind of want to take these. I might take these to Rhinebeck. I wasn't planning on it, but I might. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm probably gonna end up taking these to Rhinebeck to work on. And this pair I'm definitely taking to Rhinebeck to work on. So last one. When we were at the Michigan Fiber Fest, Troy bought this really fun black and white yarn that was part of a Halloween collection. The vendor is Pearl Talk, and this is their base You Socksy thing. The color is Zebra, but when it knits up, it looks kind of fun and spooky. So I'm just knitting him a pair of basic vanilla socks in this yarn. Doesn't it look so good knit up? So I was hoping to have these done for him by Halloween. So these are definitely coming to Rhinebeck with us, and these need to be my #1 sock focus. Maybe I shouldn't bring the other ones. If I bring the other ones, I'm gonna wanna work on them. Okay, I'm just gonna bring these. Sorry, I'm in the middle of packing and planning for the trip right now. So these bad boys are definitely coming to Rhinebeck. We'll see about the other ones. Maybe. All right, that's it for socks. Sorry, I know I went through those really quickly, but like I said, if you're interested in more info about them, you can check out that other video, my most recent video. Okay, moving on from socks, I do have a couple other small projects I've been working on. This one is living in this really pretty bag from a local maker, Dre, I'm blanking on her last name. I'm pretty sure I talked about it in my most recent podcast, but yeah, I picked this up at a local market. Just a really pretty like applique. Oh, Dre McLeod, that's who it is. Okay, so I am knitting myself a hot water bottle cover using my hand spun. I think I had started this on the last podcast. This is the hand spun that I'm using. I made this from a bat from a gem Fiber Arts, and I got that on Etsy. I love the color. I think it's called California Sunset or something like that. Just orange sherbety to me. Like, I just love it. I'm holding it double to get a DK weight. And here's what I've got. So, oh, you can see a lot of that kind of Grello coming through here. I was working on this quite a bit last night. I feel like I'm about halfway done with the body of this before I start the decreases. But yeah, the hand spun is knitting up really pretty. It's really soft. You can tell it has a lot of nylon in it. And it's fitting the water bottle pretty well so far. I just kind of I didn't do as many increases at the bottom as the pattern called for. I was just kind of trying it on as I went, and so far it is fitting really well. So this is kind of my perfect like mindless knitting right now. Like last night I was really tired after working on the moth costumes all day, and I just sat down and like put in a bunch of rows on this, and it was perfect. So that one probably won't get worked on again until we get back from our trip, but just plugging away on it. All right, next we have the iris hat that I'm knitting for Troy. This is a pattern by Sari Nordland. It is a top-down 1x1 rib beanie. So you start with the increases. It makes this really pretty kind of star shape. I haven't got a ton of work done on this, but definitely knit maybe like an inch on it. The color is marling so pretty. So I got both of these skeins for free actually at the Michigan Fiber Fest. They had like a swap table. The rusty orange color is Madeline Tosh. It's like a MCN, like it got some cashmere in it. And then the dark burgundy was an alpaca lace weight. And yeah, I think it's working up really nice. I don't know, I was planning to bring this one to Rhinebeck, but now I'm not feeling that inspired to work on it. So we'll see. We're driving, so may as well throw it in, right? Maybe, we'll see. Okay, next one is a big one. So, I'm gonna show the Westknits MKAL, the Go Go Dynamo shawl now. So I'll be showing all of clue 1 and like half of clue 2. So if you don't want to see spoilers, please skip ahead to this time. And that's when it'll be safe to jump back in without seeing the shawl. So since I was last here, the MKAL has started. I believe it started on October 3rd. And I'm trying to keep up, doing my best. I did finish clue 1 in the first week. So far, I am really enjoying it. So let me show you my yarns. Then I can show you my progress. So my main color is this kind of really pretty tonal raspberry color. And this is by Ryan Yarns. It is their twist sock base and the color is called Queen of Shadows. My contrast color is this very fun speckle. And this is by Leading Men Fiber Arts, and the color is Only Have Eyes for You, but it's like E-W-E, like a sheep. And my mohair dare is this really fun pink mohair. This is from Santa's Garn, and let's see if the color is on here. Color 4628. I will never be able to remember that. So those are my colors. Let me get myself organized here and show you my progress. So I'm showing the shawl now, clue 1 through basically clue 2. I'm halfway through clue 2, but the second half is the same as the first. Here she is. Look at all those yarn ends. Kind of hard to show because it's extremely long already. So let me see if I can spread this out a little bit. So, okay, so you can see this, maybe you can see. I also don't have needle stoppers on this, so I'm living on the edge. See that kind of semicircle rainbow shape at the bottom? So we started out by knitting 3 of those separately, and then we connected them with all those little garter stripe sections at the bottom. Then we had about 300 some stitches on our needle, and we did this row of bubbles. So those are done by knitting 8 rows of stockinette and then doing like a dip stitch row. So that was clue 1. I'm really pleased. I was a little worried I wouldn't have enough contrast between my colors, but I think you can tell that there's plenty of contrast, and I'm really, really pleased with how it's looking. So clue 2 starts with this brioche section. There was also an option for an eyelet version if you didn't want to do the brioche. I'm not 100% happy with what I chose to do here. So initially I was thinking I would continue using the contrast color and just hold 1 strand of the mohair with it. But then in Steven's video, he said that he was holding 2 strands of the mohair together instead of using the contrast color. So I thought, oh, like I'll do that too. That would be cool. And what I was hoping it would look like is how it looks on the wrong side. See how the pink mohair really pops out? But on the right side, when the pink mohair is the background color, you don't get as much credit for it. So I'm not 100% happy with how that looks. I'm not going to rip it out because it took me so long to knit that section. But hopefully later in the shawl, maybe I'll get a chance to feature that pink mohair like as the main color, and you could get a little more credit for it. So there's the brioche section, then there's a little bit of garter, and then there's another row of bubbles. So I've finished knitting the 8 rows of contrast color. Now I need to do the dip stitch row. And then you basically just repeat those 2 sections again. So there'll be another stripe of brioche and then another bubble row, and that's clue 2. These rows are very long already. It's kind of an interesting shape. So like the edges are finished with an I-cord right now, both edges. So, but it's still increasing. So I'm kind of thinking it's gonna be like, I mean, this is gonna be impossible to show you. Like this, oh, that's the wrong side. Like this. I don't know. Like this, I don't know. We'll see. I have a sneaking suspicion that what we're knitting now might be the bottom. And maybe then we're gonna go back and like decrease. I really don't know, because the edge where we started, like this edge, is not finished yet. So maybe this at the top is actually the bottom of the shawl. I really don't know. We'll find out. I still have a little bit more than half of Clue 2 to knit. So my plan is to work on this in the car on the way to New York tomorrow. It's going to be about 9 to 10 hours in the car. So my hope is that I can get Clue 2 finished, and then Clue 3 comes out on Thursday. And we'll see how much I get to work on it while I'm in New York. We're definitely gonna have downtime, but I'm also gonna be there with like my friends and family, and I just wanna make sure that I am able to focus on them, and also probably will need to focus on that. So we'll see how much I get done. But we do have another 9 to 10 hour car ride home on Monday, so we will see. Okay, if you didn't wanna see spoilers, it's now safe to come back. And I have one more whip to show you. And this one is, I'm excited about it and I like how it's turning out, but I'm also a little bit frustrated by the pattern. So this is the Big Rib by Jessie May. Here's a picture of what it looks like on Jessie May. Now that I've started knitting this and I go to look at her pattern photos, and I'm like, oh, she's like hiding the issue with this pattern by the way she photographed this, because there aren't any photos that just show the entire sweater. Like, they're all really cropped, like the photos are really cropped, or she has it tucked in, or it's like strategically hiding the issue that I'm having with the pattern. So let me show you the yarns I'm using and how far I've gotten, because I've made quite a bit of progress. So I'm knitting this for the To Me From MKAL that Laura Penrose is currently running. I think it goes till the end of November, and the idea is just to knit something fun for yourself, like for the holidays. So I'm knitting a sparkly Big Rib. My main yarn is this. This is Wool Folk Taj, and what color is it? It does not say. Let me see. Color 00. It's just kind of like cream. Where is the, it's 75% merino, 25% mohair. So it's like a real chunky, like fluffy yarn. And I'm holding it with sparkles. So I'm holding it with this sequin yarn, which these are Lang paillettes, and it's silver sequins on a white cord. You can really see there's a lot of sequins on here. Like, they're really close together. And it is making a very fun fabric. So I've made quite a bit of progress on this. Here's what I have. Maybe you can see the issue right away. So I did go ahead and do the neckline, and I've started the first sleeve. I love the fabric. I think it's very sparkly, like when the light hits it, but it's not like really, really in your face. Maybe if I hold it up close, you can see the sparkle. I'm a little worried the sequins might be itchy or irritating, but working with it hasn't been bothering me, so we'll see. I kept the neckline a little bit shorter than she calls for in the pattern, just because I didn't want it like really close to my neck with the sequins. So holding this like how it's gonna sit on my body, maybe you can see that the front is about 5 to 6 inches shorter than the back. When I try it on, the back is very long, like maybe longer than I would want it to be, and the front is like barely covering my bust. Let me stand up so you can see this. So I'm frustrated by this, and I kind of was worried this was going to be a problem as I was knitting the back panel. The back panel is very long. Like, the neck comes up really, really high. Like, it's almost like she didn't factor in the neckband when she made the back panel, because the back neck comes up to like here without the neckband. Like it's really high, but where it actually sits on my body like this, that makes the back so much longer than the front. And I went on Ravelry and looked at a bunch of people's projects, and you can tell that this is not a me problem, this is a pattern problem, because most people's kind of look like this. People's that don't look like this have notes that they altered the pattern. So since I didn't alter it in time to shorten the back panel, like I didn't realize it was going to be an issue in time, my plan is so I knit the collar, I'm going to knit the sleeves, even though it's kind of hard. I probably need to block this because the ribbing makes it a little bit hard to tell how long the sleeve really needs to be. Then I'm going to try it on again. But right now my plan is to basically knit short rows on the front body to like fill in all of that missing length, and then knit the ribbing on the body. Because I just don't want the back to get any longer. I really just need to like fill in that space on the front. And anytime there's something on a project like this where I like need to really figure something out, it makes me like want to finish it really bad. So I'm probably going to bring this to Rhinebeck and hopefully try and finish it. And I just hope I can get it to a place where I like the fit. It's not something I'm going to be wearing all the time. It's kind of going to be like a holiday special occasion sweater. And I'm hoping that adding those short rows will solve the problem. I will keep you posted. Not super pleased with it. And I have to say, like, as much as I love the look of Jessie May's designs and her patterns, I've knit a couple of them now and I've had fit issues with all of them. So it's not making me feel like great about knitting any more of her patterns. One of my favorite sweaters I've made this year was the V-neck, what is it called? Northwoods V-neck, which was a design of hers, which I love the finished object, but there were issues with the pattern. So I don't know, it's hard. Like I love her designs, but I have not had a single like easy knitting experience with any of her patterns. So curious to hear if you all like, I don't know, are you a Jessie May stan? Is it just me? Like, I don't know. Or if you've had that experience with a similar designer where like you love their work, but you struggle with their pattern. I don't know. I want to love this and I do like how it's looking, but I'm just frustrated by the pattern and the knitting experience. But I am determined to make it work. Okay, that's it for whips. I have one acquisition. And then we'll talk about Rhinebeck. So my acquisition is actually a pre-order that I placed earlier this year, like May or June. It's been a while. So this was the Ruby and Roses Flowers Gone Wild collection pre-order. So it was actually my first time ever doing a yarn pre-order. And I don't know if I'll do any more. Maybe I will, you know, never say never, but I feel like if I'm buying yarn, it's usually because I'm really excited about it, and I don't know, to have to wait like 4 months to get it. I'm still excited about this, and I am excited about the plans I have for it. So let me show you what I got. So I'm planning to make the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca Clow. Here's a picture. I'm going to make this as an Advent style project. And I'm kind of starting to gather all my stuff for Vlogmas and get my plans ready for that. And I knew I wanted to knit an Advent style project, meaning like I'm gonna knit a little bit on it every day. But I did not purchase a yarn Advent this year. I purchased one last year for the first time and I was pretty disappointed with it. And I think I'm more likely to end up with a garment or project that I like if I know what the colors are. So this year I decided to still buy like a special yarn and have this Advent style project, but it was going to be something where I knew what it was going to look like in the end. So the main color I'm going to be using is Ruby and Roses Rose DK. This is 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 246 yards for 100 grams, and the color is Wisteria. And it is this really gorgeous kind of purpley mauve-y color. I got 4 skeins of this, and the dye is pretty consistent, although I will say on, oh, here's the spot. I noticed that the dye broke in a couple places. Do you see that little blue spot there? So we'll see how that knits up. I might either, if there's only like 1 or 2 of those spots in each skein, I might cut them out. And if there's a lot more than that, we'll see. I probably will just leave them, but overall the color is very pretty. Then I got two mini skein sets, 2 of the same set. This was the Happy Place mini skein set. So you can see it has all these really fun colors. There's 8 minis ranging from like hot neon pink to red to dark purple. There's a couple more like variegated skeins. This is fingering weight. So I got 2 of these because I need to hold them together. This is the Rosebud Minis collection. But I think she was calling this Happy Place when I purchased it. Same base, oh yeah, Happy Place. So maybe all the mini bundles were the Rosebud Minis, and then this one was called Happy Place. So yeah, I got 2 of these, and as you saw, I'm going to be holding, this is the main color, and then these will be the stripes. So I'll have to figure out what order I want them to go in, but I think that's going to be really pretty. The yarn is very soft, but I will say one thing I was not expecting and do not like is that this yarn has been washed with a strongly scented soap. Like, it's really strong, like a very strong floral scent. And I'm pretty sensitive to like fragrance. And had I known that these were going to come like that, I would not have purchased them. The scent really irritates me, and I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not going to enjoy knitting this because of the scent of the yarn. Like, it's really strong. Like, I've had these in my storage closet with all my other yarn, and now the entire closet smells like this yarn. I'm actually planning to send the dyer an email and just let her know that, like, she probably, and maybe she does, but I did not see advertised anywhere that the yarn was treated with a scented wash. Some people have actual allergies to this kind of thing, and like even just like waving it around in front of my face, I'm getting a little like, oh, like stuffy. I really don't like that. Like, maybe she could offer it as an option at checkout, but I think as a rule to like treat all of your yarn with a scented wash is probably not like the most user-friendly option. So I am going to email her and just let her know that, you know, it might be nice to let people opt out of that if there is an option to do so. But I am still excited to make this project, and I suppose if I can't work with the yarn because of the scent, then I will just have to like wash all of it, which is going to be very annoying, but or like work on it near an open window. I don't know. Hopefully I can figure it out because it's really beautiful, and I think the cardigan will be super fun and colorful. I just was not expecting that smell to be associated with it. And I've never encountered that with any other dyer before, so it's just kind of odd. All right, let me clear off my table here and we can talk about Rhinebeck. So let me grab my coffee here. Hope you're all having a nice day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're watching. Hope you can enjoy a beverage. I've got some coffee, a latte. All right, Rhinebeck. So I am so excited to be going to the New York Sheep and Wool Festival for the first time this year. It's funny because I lived in New York City for 5 years, and that was before I was a knitter. And I have never been to this festival before. But now that I live in Ohio again, I look back and I'm like, oh, I could have been going to Rhinebeck every year for like 5 years, and it just didn't work out that way. But I do really enjoy going to upstate New York anyway. We're going to be meeting up. So Troy's coming, my sister's coming, and we're going to be meeting up with my friend who still lives in the city. She's going to take the train up to meet us. So we're going to have an Airbnb in Kingston from Wednesday night through Monday morning. So we'll be there for a few extra days, and I'm really excited. I am planning to film a vlog of our trip, and it's not gonna just be yarny stuff. It's gonna be our whole New York trip, but there will be plenty of yarny knitting content included. So first I'm going to talk about the projects I'm taking. Kind of already touched on that. Number 1 is the Go Go Dynamo. I need to finish clue 2, hopefully get a start on clue 3. Second is going to be Troy's Halloween socks. So those black and white socks, I would love to maybe finish them on this trip, at least one. And then the big rib I'm going to take, and hopefully I can figure out what's going on with it. Okay. I'm also so eager to cast on a new sweater. I want to knit a scrappy sweater with 2 different, like a bunch of different, I pulled 20 colors of fingering weight yarn scraps, and I'm going to do like a randomized marled sweater, and I can talk more about that later, but I'm so eager to cast that on. I might have to bring it. We'll see. Okay, projects I'm shopping for. So I have a list of about 5 or 6 things that I am specifically looking for at the festival. And this is, I mean, who knows? I'm eager to see all the vendors, but this is just to kind of help guide me, especially for yarn purchases, like sweater quantities. Like, these are the couple of things I'm looking for, just so I don't go like totally crazy. The first one is the Drivo pullover by Teddy Lutsack. Here's a picture. So for this one, I'm looking for, the pattern's written for sport weight, but I particularly love this version that Teddy made that is DK weight, but either would be fine. I'm looking for maybe like a BFL, like a more shiny, or like a yak, like a shinier like worsted weight, or a worsted spun yarn for this project. Maybe in like a dark cherry red, or I don't know about the color. I'm open, but I feel like when I find the right yarn for this, I will know, and it's more about the base and then just picking a pretty color. Next is the Dion, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, by Natasha Hornby. Here's a picture. I think this sweater is so beautiful and unique. I have been wanting to knit it for like over a year. For this one, I want to find an undyed natural wool color, probably a gray, but maybe like a taupey color. We'll see what I can find. And this is DK worsted weight, and as I said, trying to find like a natural color. And then lastly, my cousin, who is relatively new to knitting, wants to knit her first sweater this winter, and so I'm going to help her along the process and knit the same thing. And we are going to be knitting the linen sweater by Kadri. This is just a really classic, like drop shoulder, big rib neckline, like very classic, very pretty. My cousin loves the Baba sweaters, so we were kind of looking for something that had a similar vibe. And I do need to get yarn for this. I thought I had something in stash, but I don't really. Either way, I would have to buy something to hold with the yarn I had. So this is, I believe the designer uses a worsted weight held with mohair, which is an option, or an Aran weight, like Aran to bulky. It's like a pretty thick gauge, pretty big gauge. So for this one, I would love to find maybe like a super bright reddish orange, or maybe that like black cherry kind of color. This could also be really pretty in like a natural wool, like a dark brown or black. We'll see. I'm also probably gonna pick up a couple sock sets. I feel like that's a great, like, especially if there are like festival exclusive colorways that I really like, that's a great thing. And as you've seen, I knit a lot of socks, so always a good option for me. Fiber, I'm not planning to buy a lot of fiber because I have quite a bit to work through still, but the one type of fiber I would like to try is Shanico. I've heard a lot of people talking about this fiber lately and how much they're enjoying it. So if I can find some Shanico, I would really like to try spinning that. And last but not least, I need to pick up some yarn for a Christmas gift. I don't think my sister watches this, so I'm just gonna tell you, I'm knitting her a hot water bottle cover that's gonna say hot to go on it, like the Chapel Roan song. And I really want it to be pink, like a hot pink background with red letters. So I need to find yarn for that. And that's a DK weight yarn. So, and I'm sure I'll pick up lots of other little odds and ends, but those are the main things I am shopping for. And I thought I would just quickly touch on some of the vendors that I'm really excited for. So I'll try to go through these fairly quickly, and hopefully if you are not interested in the Rhinebeck content, then you've enjoyed the video. Okay, so first I'm going to be at Indie Untangled on Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. This is one of the like satellite events that pop up around the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. And there's quite a few vendors there that I'm really excited to see. And I do anticipate doing most of my yarn shopping at this event. So the first one is Hudson and Westco. They just have a lot of gorgeous designs that I have saved in the past few months. And I specifically like they have like a natural black yarn that I love. And there's a few patterns they've released like in that yarn specifically that I want to knit at some point. So I might pick up that. And I'll put little like pictures from these companies up as I'm talking about them. Next one is Plies and Hellhounds. This is a dye I've heard a lot about. I think they have some pretty interesting bases. So I'm eager to check them out and maybe find yarn there for my Drivo pullover. We'll see. Same thing, North Bay Fiber Co. I've been hearing a lot about them. They have some interesting bases as well. Could also be a candidate for the Drivo pullover, or any of those could also be good for the linen pullover. Okay, next one is Coats & Co., which I'm hoping I can get yarn for my sister's hot water bottle cover from them. They have gorgeous solid colors. Summerlee uses them a lot in her sock designs, and they just have those really punchy, bright colors. So I think hopefully I can get some yarn from them for her gift, and that would be perfect. And maybe some minis for sock knitting as well. New vendor that I found just looking through the Indie Untangled vendor list, but I'm really excited about, is Line Study Textiles. So this is a weaving like workshop project, and they're making these project bags out of this hand woven fabric, and they're gorgeous. So if they have any left by the time I get there, I might have to get one of these. They're so pretty. The Red Pansy was another new to me vendor, but they are doing this gorgeous custom colorway for the show, and I might have to get a sock set in that. It's so pretty. Treehouse Knits is one that I have used before. I have some of their yarn, but I saw that for the show they are doing this special rainbow tweed sock yarn, and I love a tweedy sock yarn, so another one I might have to check out. There's so many more vendors too. These are just a couple I know for sure that I want to hit. Okay, so then on Sunday, I'll be at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. I'm only going on Sunday. I would love to maybe go on Saturday sometime, but I'm gonna have non-knitters with me, and I just feel like it being the first time going, I don't want to be super overwhelmed. I don't want to be fighting crowds like the whole time. So we're going on Sunday. And things I'm excited to check out, again, I was just looking through the whole vendor list, and it is extremely overwhelming. There are so many vendors at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. So I only have a couple here that I know for sure I want to hit, but I am really excited to wander around the whole thing and see like all the other vendors. The first thing is I'm excited to check out Building E, which is where all the food vendors are. So these are like people selling locally made goods. I love a food product, so I think that'll be fun, and I think the people I'm going with that are not knitters will also enjoy that. I definitely want to check out Bare Naked Wools. I'm hoping that I can get the yarn for my Dion sweater there. Funny enough, they're actually based in Ohio. They're about an hour and a half drive from me, so I've never been, but they're going to be at Rhinebeck, so I'm going to check them out there. Also excited to check out Harrisville Designs. Andrea Mowry just released her Night and Day cowl, which I really like. It's just one skein of Harrisville Daylights and one skein of Harrisville Nightshades. Really pretty. Here's a picture of the design. I would honestly like to just knit that in those colors. Like, I think it is really, really cute and a great staple, but we'll see what else they have. Miss Babs is like the one you always hear people talking about at Rhinebeck. I just knit my Nebula sweater using one of their yarns and loved it. So I think maybe this could be a good place to find yarn for my linen if I don't find any at Indie Untangled, so we'll see. And last but not least, again, there's only like, this is like a drop in the bucket. There's like hundreds of vendors. Last but not least is Holland Hoof Farm, who are another Ohio-based vendor. I have bought from them a few times before. They make gorgeous buttons and all kinds of beautiful ceramics. They are making special Rhinebeck 2024 ornaments, so I'm obsessed with this sheep one, but they have like sweaters and some other designs too. So I know for sure I want to stop by their booth and get one of these ornaments. And it's their first year doing Rhinebeck, so if you're going, definitely check them out. They're an awesome local Ohio business, so let's show them some love. Okay, that is it. I am so excited about Rhinebeck, but I'm also a little bit nervous. I don't know, I'm a little anxious. If you're there, if you happen to see me, please definitely say hi. I know I'm gonna probably be starstruck by like all the other like knitting influencers and podcasters that I see there. So yeah, if you see me, please do come say hi. And if you have any hot tips or tricks for your first time at Rhinebeck, do let me know below. That is all I have for you today. As I said, I will be recording like a vlog style video while we're away that will probably include any like of my Rhinebeck purchases and a little recap of our experience. And then I'll have a normal podcast for you a couple of weeks after that. So until then, I hope you get lots of crafty time in. If you're going to Rhinebeck, I hope you have a wonderful trip and maybe I'll see you there. And yeah, happy crafting. I'll see you next time.